Go.
Band meeting.
Final one.
Final band
Final
meeting
band meeting.
of FMP. Today is Wednesday, the 21st of May. So, what do we think about FMP as a whole?
I think we was able to meet our objective.
Yeah.
I think. Or did we say seven? Did we say 7 songs
We
originally?
said 6 or 7 at the
Yeah.
beginning of FMP.
Okay. So we pretty much got everything we wanted to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say FMP has been a success.
Yeah.
It's not been like
Easy.
100% perfect. It's not like a completely straight line. There's been a few bumps here and there, but
We managed to get through it as a band.
Yeah.
yeah, there was a lot of difficulties. I got to say, on the day of the gig, we had a lot of stress. We had a lot of, you know,
There's a lot of adversities you have to overcome from where it is when you look at it on the outside point. From where things that have happened, the absences that have happened, we've managed to.
Especially my hoarse voice on the gig, which is unfortunately really sad because I prepared quite a lot, and for that to happen like last minute, obviously I had to overcome that. But I did take like strepsils, so tried to rest a bit.
Yeah, that's how we resolved it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we put a lot of time and effort into our songwriting, into our rehearsals.
Yeah.
You know, we did, like, all in all, we did meet our target of 6 or 7 songs in the indie style to perform at a gig for charity. That was our main objective, and to write 4 or 5 of them ourselves as a band, which we did. So we met our target, but it's just getting there. We did have a few, you know, ups and downs.
For example, like on the day before, my string snapped, and on the day of, one of your guitar strings snapped.
Exactly.
And we had to delay the first band going on so we could get the guitar fixed for them as well.
Exactly, yeah, that was another issue. We had some problems, you know, before that. Sound check as well, guitar going out of tune. We had obviously Jodie's voice, we had the guitar string breaking. You know, it wasn't perfect, but we managed to do it in the end. We pulled through. It's definitely some good experience for all of us as young musicians.
How did you think like rehearsal went for the majority of the FMP? Because in my opinion, I think it went pretty well, as obviously absences was a big thing, but we managed to overcome that. Everyone catched up on their parts pretty well. For Liam's last song called Electrify Me, we literally got our parts, like all of us, I'd say under 15 minutes. I think that was like probably like the shortest one.
Well, I think we made that like a week before the gig, didn't we? But
Yeah.
we were still able to like retain like information.
Yeah, we pretty much made our parts as we went.
Yeah.
That was very efficient and quick and professional from us. That's like standards that we need to kind of keep. Yeah, we need to keep them standards if we want to become, you know, session musicians in the music industry. Definitely being able to learn songs or write songs quickly. That's definitely a very useful skill for the music industry.
I think we've integrated like a lot of stuff from our research tasks as well. We put them into rehearsal. Like, for an example, like for Feel Good Inc. and all the songs I had on bass, I like put octaves into it. And you know, when I was experimenting with Liam's pedals, the research that I did about guitar pedals in the indie genre also helped out a lot with that to, you know, get the right kind of tone for the song and stuff. I'd say you experimented with the pedals a lot as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I did some research.
Especially with that compressor, it wasn't very it didn't really sound great.
Yeah, we didn't quite get the hang of the compressor, but we are quite new to using pedals and effects, and you know, obviously the indie genre crossing over with shoegaze, you know, they do go hand in hand at some point. So you know, it is something that we're new to, but you know, over time we will be able to like pick up some more knowledge on how to use different pedals and different effects. But I think we've done well because we've researched into them, we've applied our research. You know, using them pedals for our gig.
Yeah, it's a lot of information we can use, you know, for next year of the course as well. Like especially if we wanted to, you know, implement some of them features from the indie genre.
Exactly.
Yeah. Especially going into the industry as well. So a lot of the stuff we've learned and things from our research in this project will definitely help us in the industry, especially some of the skills we've all picked up during this project.
Yeah, definitely.
Whether built on from previous ones or just picked up.
And we've all shown a lot of versatility throughout this project.
Yeah.
Jake's obviously been able to play drums and, you know, lead guitar, vocals. You know, Dylan's been able to play bass and guitar. I've been able to play bass, guitar, and a little bit of vocals. Jodie's been able to do vocals, drums. So you know, we've all shown different versatility,
Yeah.
and obviously that's going to help us next year and in the music industry, because you know, versatile musicians are always needed.
Exactly.
You know, if somebody ever isn't able to perform somewhere and they need someone who plays this or that, and you can play that instrument, that's definitely needed, and
Exactly,
that's going to get
I
you
mean,
out there.
we've made a lot of improvement, you know, with other instruments as well. That's another thing about flexibility. Like personally, I think because I played more bass on, you know, more of our songs this project, I think I've, you know, been like given more confidence with playing bass. Same thing with like you singing songs as well. Usually you're on bass for quite a lot of the songs in like the past projects as well.
Yeah.
I'd say you've definitely improved like in confidence wise and you know, and on stage as well. And Jolie with the drums, and also Jake with the drums, you know. I think it was last project when Jake started the drums, and he's definitely improved like a lot. I think that's another thing with research as well. Again, you know, we've used information from our research to help us. So
and one of mine was researching those different drum fills and where they go in different parts of the song.
There you go.
Something I integrate into practical work.
Yeah, we've all applied our research, I think, very, very well. That's definitely one of our strengths in this project. Like charity and venue research, we've managed to apply that. I've applied some vocal research with my tutor, like the little what's it called? The little workshops we have had with Ryan. You know, there's been some with Mark and Phil. I had a vocal one with Ryan. I also had a guitar one. I was able to apply them. Obviously, by doing vocals in this project, I haven't really done vocals before. My confidence is improved with it, my technique's improved, my knowledge of it's improved from the workshops, being more aware of it. Same with guitar. I can now play the major scale. I now know where certain notes are on the fretboard because of the workshop that I've had with Ryan. But yeah, we've had a lot of deep knowledge and understanding gained throughout this project. We've managed to apply that. We've had, you know, a lot of ups and downs, but we've showed some good problem-solving skills. I think, you know, we've managed to evaluate quite well every week with our band meetings, by journals, you know, explaining into depth what happened, what we could do better, you know, them kind of things. But yeah, planning's been reasonably good. I think, you know, the issues with absences and things like that, we could have maybe done a bit better if we've had some like plan Bs in our action planners or something like that. But
I think absence is this one thing you can't really plan for.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
I think maybe if we did it again, go into it thinking, expect the unexpected.
yeah,
Because there's a lot of things that just didn't go to plan that we were able to. For example, we had to end up scrapping one cover because it was just too much to learn in the short amount of time we technically had. Even though at the time we were learning it, we started at 9-8 weeks to a gig.
yeah.
But we didn't want that one song taking up so much time. We only had a 4-song set list.
Yeah, and better planning could have helped us with this, you know, like arranging, you know, do we have enough time for these amount of songs? How long will this song take us to learn approximately?
Yeah.
You know, some better planning and organisation could have helped us with this, you know, for the next year of the course and for the future. Definitely keeping that in mind, you know, what is reasonable with our ability and the time constraints we have. You know, what is best for the set list, what is best for the band, what is best for me. You know, taking them things into account more, it'll definitely help us. Especially next year if we are in a band. Things like that will definitely help, you know.
How does everyone think they did with like collaboration stuff? Because, you know, on my part, I feel like throughout all the past projects, I've definitely improved with like communication, and you know, helping people with songwriting as well. That's a thing I didn't really have in like project 1, project 2, and project 3, because you know at the start of the year, I was really like good with communication with other band members, and that's what led to like stuff like not planning things out properly, you know, not using our rehearsal time efficiently and stuff like that. Like, I just think, like collaboration went.
I think that like collaboration wise, one good element of what we did right was we both had like really good teamwork, and we all had really good teamwork. We all communicated really well. Our communication skills were great. Although the acting was still a massive thing, but our communication skills was great. Talking about cover songs and original songs. We all implemented our ideas. No one felt really left out in the band. So I think that was really good.
I think our communication with each other was reasonably good. I
think
would say that's a
strongest.
strength. I would say though with communication with the other bands and the venue could have been a bit better. I would argue. I think when we were in that Facebook group chat,
Yeah.
you know, reaching out and saying, you know, do we need amps? Do we need a DI box? You know, these equipment, things like that. If we would have done that much earlier, then our communication could have been a lot better. So that was where our communication went a little bit
But
shaky.
if I got added to the group chat with like a week to go for the gig, and they asked me to, because we were the headlining band, which I didn't find out till a couple of days before,
Yeah.
a week beforehand, and that's when I got added to the group chat, and they didn't. No one had said to us before we was having to bring all this stuff. We was expecting it to be there,
Yeah.
which is going into the game we shouldn't have expected before to have all this stuff. But I think the reason we did is down to the fact of we see people playing there all the time. There's always a drum kit there. There's always amps.
Yeah, and better communication beforehand could have ensured that we didn't have that dilemma of do we not bring this, then bring that, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, professional standards in the music industry, you know, they're kind of the expected. You know, you're kind of expected to have some strong communication between yourself and venue and any other bands that are on the night, so you can properly sort out what is going to happen, who's going to bring what, how it's going to go down, you know, things like that. It's, you know, it's important, you know, and so we've learned that from this project. I definitely would say.
Is there anything else we need to say really? Covered all areas.
Time management.
Time
maybe?
management.
I mean,
I think we've gone
yeah,
over
we
it.
went well with time management. I think we managed to get all 6 songs done.
Yeah. With a little bit of stress towards the end, but
Yeah, we did manage to complete our goals, so I think that was good.
I think there was definitely. I think if we had maybe like an extra week, we would have got all the songs to a higher standard.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because I think, especially looking back on it, you can tell which songs were more rehearsed than others.
Like Pigman was
Yeah.
probably one of the best ones we had rehearsed because we had that in project proposal, so we had a lot more
At
time.
least like 11, 12 weeks we can work on that song.
Yeah, I think time management, other than having to scrap one of our original songs, where our time management was a bit, we planned on weeks where we were going to, you know, write an original song, a week where we're going to, you know, learn a cover song, and we were spot on with, you know, sticking to the action planner in that sense of, you know, we're going to do it this week, we're going to do that week. But other than that, yeah, time management pretty decent, I would say. Another strength in this project, but a little bit shaky when it comes to, you know, that song that we had to scrap, which was Time for Heroes by the Libertines. But, you know, as previously mentioned, things like that, you know, can happen. And if better time management for that song was, you know, more on display, then we could have not had that dilemma, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, is there anything else we want to add?
No, I think that's
Yeah, I think there's everything.
Yeah, I
One
think-
last little clap. Yeah. We did it. Oh yeah, sorry Liam, I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Yeah.